Welcome back to another episode of War in Cali. In this episode, I'm going to talk about a big case that happened between the Hoovers and the Menlos. Become rivals along the way of the Hoovers when they were trying to dominate. One will be the 6'5" Menlos. The Hoovers played a big role in the start of the Menlos in their early beginnings. They actually gave them the name the Menlo Boys in the late 70s. The Menlos didn't start off banging or even being rivals to the Hoovers. They also was in close proximity to the Hoovers, so they often hung out and had family ties. But the Menlos didn't want to gangbang at first, or to even become Hoovers. This later caused a rift between the two hoods. The Hoovers' mentality always been you with us or against us. With the Menlos not getting on the bandwagon, they would go to war, and Menlo Park would be the war zone for years to come. Menlo Park is dead smack into what became the Menlos' turf. The Hoovers were often roaming the area, and this led to many conflicts between the two. The Menlos became Crips and put the gangster Crip on their name without actually being fully in the gangster car. They didn't understand the politics that was going on at the time, and they later bumped heads with the biggest gang in the gangster car. That was the A-Tray Gangsters. This made them have another big rival outside of the Hoovers. With having two of the biggest rivals of the neighborhood car as enemies, by the mid-80s, it was easy to associate with other hoods like the 60s who had some heavy hitters in the Menlo's turf at the time, like Keystone, Petey Whack, and this association helped build a relationship with them later becoming neighborhood Crips. Hoovers wasn't letting up in this beef. Both hoods will often have shootouts, and the Hoovers taking this beef the most serious was the 7-4 Hoovers. Menlo Park would soon see a tragedy. In June of 1987, some Menlos would decide to go to Menlo Park where a group of Hoovers were sitting at the park posting. Several adults and kids would be at the park as well. The Menlos started spraying. In response, so did the Hoovers. The park became a war zone, with shots being fired on both sides and many people in the crossfire. A 9-year-old boy named DeAndre would be caught in the middle of it. He was in a sandbox when he was hit in the neck as he played with his friends. He was only in the 4th grade. He died out of hospital in Inglewood hours later. DeAndre was a little 9-year-old boy who had a hard life, and his life got cut short early. He was a foster child who got taken in by a woman along with his 3 other younger siblings. It was even hard for the foster mom to bury him with the lack of money. She didn't even know how she could afford his funeral. The shooting sent the community in an outrage. Many people came forth to help and get a description of what happened and who was involved. The person who shot that ended up striking DeAndre was a 17-year-old boy from Menlo Crip named Damien. He was later picked up and lived in the same area as the park. In 1989, Damien was sentenced in court and he was 19 at the time. He received 17 years to life for the shooting. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my previous videos. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.